Good evening. This is the first session of our retreat from home. So this session is intended for you to do on the first evening. It's a light session, really light session. It's a relax and restore session. So it's to help us to get into the right place. It is to help us to internalize, and for tonight have a really good rest, a really good sleep, so that tomorrow morning when we begin with some stronger work, some kapha balancing work, we'll feel good. We'll feel that we have the energy to do that work. So for any relaxation session, you need to set up the right conditions. You need to take yourself away from your distractions. You need to be sure that your room is warm enough, that you're going to have enough comfort, that you have enough time so you don't feel that you're rushing, and make sure that you have some props. I've got, it doesn't have to be exactly this, but I've got a couple of cushions, I've got a couple of blocks. We can manage with just cushions if you don't have blocks. I've got a couple of blankets. So bring stuff, bring props, and use as much as you need to make these postures comfortable. The more comfortable you can make yourself in the posture, the more seductive the posture is, the more it draws you in to this state of relaxation. So we're going to begin by sitting for a few moments, and I want you to make this really comfortable. So I'm going to take a blanket and it's going to go underneath my feet here, so the out edges of my feet have got a little bit more padding, and maybe you can tuck in around your feet a little bit, so you've got some padding between your feet and your shins. Now that's better for me already. That feels comfortable for me. So try something like that. Maybe try a cushion or a block underneath the back of your seat, just to give you some support there. So whatever you need, whatever it takes for you to be as comfortable as you can possibly be. We want to feel that we release down into the heaviest part of the posture, so into the hips and the pelvis. We'd like to feel that the spine can lengthen. We can open the belly and open the heart space and widen the collarbones as we see. When you're ready, you close your eyes and you bring your hands again to wherever you're comfortable. So they can be on your knees if this is familiar and comfortable for you. They can be in your lap if this feels comfortable, or on your body if you want to take the opportunity here just to connect to your breathing. Maybe close your eyes, and that will help you to internalize and take a breath here, that first conscious breath of our mini retreat, that inhale. And then as you exhale, you just begin the process of letting go and releasing. We start to withdraw from stimulation, from thoughts and worries, things that are on our minds. We'll lower the chin in slightly towards the front of the throat, so you just lower the front of the brain as if you're looking slightly in towards your heart. You're not rounding your upper back or collapsing your shoulders. You're keeping the heart, the breastbone lifted. You're just lowering your chin a little bit. You're looking inward. And this really small action of lowering your brain, dropping your brain a little bit, it initiates our internalization. Symbolizes introversion. And if you're anxious, if you're stimulated, if you feel wired, you'll find that your chin will just keep lifting, keep popping up again. So keep aware of that and just bring the chin in, relax the shoulders down, lower the brain again if that happens. Elongate your breath. Lower the chin again if you need to. Soften the shoulders. And just give yourself time, as we would on any retreat, anywhere around the world. We'd give ourselves time to arrive, to put down our roots. And we start to find some space. We just take a note here of where we're beginning from. If the body is tight or tense, if the breath is fragmented or uneven, if your mind is busy, buzzing, and then when you feel ready, we're going to take a giant inhale. We're going to take the breath into the belly, let it expand sideways into the ribs, and then up and into the chest. We'll hold the breath for a second or two, and we feel the internal space around the breath before we release that breath very, very slowly. So there's no rush or hurry. If you need to sit for longer, you can always pause me. This is maybe a benefit of recorded sessions. If you feel ready, you can start that giant inhale in your own time. We retain it. And we let go of it very slowly. And as you let go of that breath, you feel that you let go of your stress. You release some of the pressure that you might be feeling. We're going to do that again. So whenever you're ready, giant inhale. with retention. Releasing whenever you feel ready. We're going to do one more. If you need a breath in between, you can take one. Otherwise, big inhale again. Look it in. And with the breath, you release any pressure. Perfect. You can bring your hands together in front of your heart. Lift your breastbone towards your thumbs so your belly, your chest remain open. You can lower your gaze, look inward again, and set an intention here for conscious, deep rest. You can maybe connect that intention in your head, also in your heart, and then take your time to slowly lay down. Again, we want to be as comfortable as we possibly can. So you might like to put one of your blankets underneath you, if you've got two, so that you've got more padding underneath your back. I do this in classes sometimes, especially if we're in a cold village hall. I put my blanket underneath, and everybody always says how cozy it looks. So make sure if you're using that blanket underneath that it's nice and smooth. And I say this, Denise, to you especially. Denise is the queen of wrinkly blankets and not well folded props. So make sure it's nice and smooth. So there's no rocks, that nothing's going to be uncomfortable. And then lay yourself down. You come onto your back in semi-supine. Clear some of my clutter away. Good. Now you might feel that second blanket you want maybe underneath the back of your head. Not so much that it's changing the alignment of your neck. So a little bit padding is fine. And again, make sure everything's nice and smooth. You don't feel that your blankets are rucked up or your head is unevenly supported. Then we're going to come into a twist. We'll do the right side first. So you move your hips over and to the right side of your mat, and then your knees are coming over and to the left. We'll open out through the right arm, and you can support your legs here if you wish. So you can use a block or a cushion underneath your legs. You can also come in between your knees if you feel that your top leg hovers a little bit. So make it, again, as comfortable as you can. Open out through the right arm. You might want to roll your head from side to side until the neck feels easy. And we take a few breaths in our twist. So you're making the posture as comfortable as you can, as seductive as you can. So you're drawn into the state of relaxation. And it really takes time. It takes time and patience for us to move towards relaxation. So moving from activation to relaxation is very, very slow. The other way, from relaxation to activation, that can be much faster. So you close your eyes, you regulate your breath, long inhales, and long exhales. If you feel that your shoulder, your right shoulder in this case, is away from the floor, is hovering, if you're hanging on tension through the front of your shoulder or in your chest, you need to maybe take the arm lower, sometimes that can help, or put more support underneath your legs or maybe in between your legs. Play around with the posture until you feel that both halves of it, so that the right shoulder and the legs feel supported, and then everything in between can start to soften and relax and unwind. You feel that your chest becomes spacious, your belly feels open. And we can fill with breath, we can create space with our breath. And sigh away. Again, you can stay for longer if you feel that you need to, if you've only just found your comfort here and your breath here, maybe stay for another 5 or 10 breaths. If you're ready, we turn over and we do the same posture to the other side. So you come back into the center, move your hips over to the left, your knees over to the right. Use the support again, ideally the same. So even if the posture is more difficult, more challenging to one side than the other, try and support both sides the same amount. So even if your left hip isn't stiff and you don't need this support on this side, use it still. So you're doing exactly the same thing to the two sides. Shrug out your right shoulder from underneath you. Open out through your left arm. Of course, if you realize here that you need more support on this side than you did on the other side, use that little bit extra this time. You'll know next time that you need more on both sides. You can roll your head side to side, let the neck relax and settle, close your eyes, and then tune into your breathing again. You let your awareness glide along your breath. And you feel where the restriction is, where there's a limitation, where the breath is becoming stuck. And you try and open up more space into those areas. You check that your left shoulder is softening down. You take another breath or two on this side. If you took extra time on the first side, do the same again. We might sigh away the last breath or two here. So you take a slightly larger inhale. A long sigh away. Use your feet to lift your legs back to the center. Adjust your hips. Come back onto the midline of your mat and take a moment to notice how you feel. We're going to come into an easy back bend here, an easy extension. I'm going to use a couple of cushions. You can use blocks if you have a bolster or pillows. We just need a little lift. It doesn't have to be huge underneath the sacrum. So for me, a couple of cushions. I'm going to take this away. Bring yourself onto your support so that your sacrum's supported. It's not under your lumbar spine, it's underneath your sacrum. So double check there. Now you can start here, and if your lower back is vulnerable, you might want to stay with your feet on the floor and your knees bent. This is okay, this is fine. You're still opening your frontal space, you're still taking a little bit of a back bend. If this feels okay, you can lengthen your legs all the way down. And find the right space, so you can jiggle your legs out a bit wider until it feels just right for you. You could take your arms up and over. So this is optional. If your shoulders are real stiff and it's going to give you pain to take your arms up and over, keep them lower. If it's okay for you to take your arms up and over, then here is really good. It's going to help you to open your chest and your shoulders. So it should feel easy. We don't want to feel pinching in our lower backs. We don't want to feel stress or strain. Just easy opening in the front of the body and gentle extension through your back. Your eyes are closed and softening around your eyes. Your jaw is soft and relaxed. Space between your upper and your lower teeth. Around your tongue. You notice the way that your inhalation opens the front of your body. Notice what you're letting go of as you exhale. know that when we're feeling stressed or anxious, when we're suffering from loss or depression, that we close the front of the body. We wrap the shoulders around us and we close the heart space and the belly space. So postures such as this are really nice postures for helping us to open and release those spaces again. When you feel that you're ready, you bend one knee and then the other. And you bring the arms slowly back down and to your sides. And you'll feel residue from that posture. You'll feel afterglow from that posture, even though while we're in it, the posture feels incredibly subtle. We feel the energy moving through the body in a slightly different way as we come out of the shape of the posture. From here, if it feels okay for you, bring your knees in towards you, so you're still on your support. You still have your hips slightly raised, and put the feet up in the air. Now you can adjust this and bring yourself so that your legs are up against a wall if this is really difficult for you. So there shouldn't be stress in your hip flexors, in your quads or in your center. We want this to feel easy, as if your thigh bones, your femurs are just dropping down into your hips and your pelvis. Your legs nice and relaxed. You can bend your knees for sure if your hamstrings are tugging. So bend your knees if you need to. Try and find the most congruent alignment so your thigh bones are just dropping into your pelvis. The weight is on your sacrum. Try not to let the legs fall over you. So if you're really flexible, this will be your tendency. Try and find what feels like vertical with your legs. And then your hands can drop to your sides or onto your body. You close your eyes again and you just kind of let the legs hang here for a while. You come back into really watching your breathing and just notice how it is now. Notice where you are now. So at the very beginning, we made a note of how the body felt. We made a note of how we were breathing and how the mind was. Just acknowledge at this point, has anything changed? How is your breathing? Maybe take another 2 or 3 breaths here, if that feels okay for you. Good. You can, when you're ready, slowly lower your feet to the floor. And again, we want to notice the residue, how that feels as we put the feet on the floor, as the sensation moves into the feet, as the fluids flow back into the feet. And then notice the same as you lift the support out from underneath you. you just take a moment to notice how it feels to release your sacrum back into the floor. If you sink maybe a bit deeper into the ground, into your yoga mat. Good. Now very gently we'll bring ourselves up. You might bring your knees in and roll up slowly. You might roll over onto one side to come up. Whichever you choose, try and choose to go quite slowly. So this first session, it's about us getting into that place where we can slow down and be more mindful. We're going to come into a butterfly pose here. And again, I want you to use lots of props if it's helpful. For this posture, I like to wrap the feet so that the feet are comfortable. So more padding under the out edges of your feet. You can bring your blankets around your feet, really kind of tuck your feet in, make your feet comfortable. Use support for your head as well. So you can use your blocks, you can use your cushions, use everything that you have. We're coming into a forward fold. So try it out and see how it feels. For some of us, lots of support. For some of us, maybe not so much. So experiment a little bit until you get this right for you. Sometimes it helps just to have a rock as you come into it, to slowly ease your way forward. Often if we lift and re-lengthen, like you're trying to bring the heart forward and over your feet, and then go back into your posture again, you might find that it's easier, it's more comfortable. And you can repeat that action of lifting, making space, and then going back into your fold as many times as you need to. So this time we're opening the posterior side, the back space. So this is where we're sending our breath into the back ribs, maybe into the side ribs, into the back of your waist. Can you open up space here? As if you're breathing into your kidney space. And then up and in between your shoulder blades, so behind your heart space as well. And you'll feel, as you inhale, supported by your breath, as if the breath picks you up just ever so slightly and holds you. And then as you exhale, you feel some release, a subtle dropping as you exhale. Now, you won't feel either of those things if you're pushing and pulling and forcing your posture. So you need here to be just giving to gravity, just allowing yourself to release into the posture. And the breath and the sensations that you feel here will inform you. So if you're striving, it will feel rigid. You won't get that lovely fluctuation with your breath. If you're soft and relaxed and just willing to give and let go, you'll feel a fluctuation, you'll feel that lift, buoyant on your inhale, and you'll feel yourself drop and release on your exhale. So look for that, because it's really informative. It's telling you that you're relaxing, that your approach is right, that you're not striving or stressing or straining. So we'll take another 2-3 breaths here. Really spacious inhales. And really long exhales. Again, long inhale. And long exhale. Let's check here that you feel space in the back of your neck and around at the base of your skull. Make sure that you don't have your head in a place that is compressing the back of your neck. So you're letting everything flow through the neck and across the shoulders. Just one more breath in. When you're ready, you can bring yourself up. So just very, very slowly come up. Take a moment again to notice how you feel. And then we're going to take our legs wide and open. So we're coming into what is Upavishta Konasana. I'm going to turn on my mat here so that it's more comfortable. It's good to have your heels on some kind of padding. So if not on your yoga mat, maybe use a little bit of blanket under each of your heels so you don't feel this pressure in the heels. You can use a cushion or a block underneath the back of your seat, and it can help just to lift the flesh out from underneath your sit bones. Now, I don't put this posture in here to torture you. I put it in here because it's a great kidney energy posture. For some of us, we might just want to put our backs to the wall so that the spine is supported and be here. Okay, so you're just gently opening your inner leg lines and releasing tension from the backs of your legs. For others, the posture is easier and you might come some way forward. So make sure that what you're doing here feels okay for you. Use as much support as you need again. So if you're looking to drop your head down, you might want to use your bolster here or your blocks. You can use your blocks on any of the settings. Sometimes we feel more comfortable if the head is supported. Sometimes it feels good just to let the head hang because of course you then have that tractioning out. So think about what feels good for you. And allow yourself to be here. Now, if it's really pulling in the backs of your legs, you could try a little bit of support underneath the backs of your knees. So something like this will make a big difference to how this feels in the backs of your legs, maybe even in your inner leg lines as well. So play around until you have it just right, and then we're going to stay for a few breaths. Now, in an active practice, we'd ask the toes to be looking just straight up. We're going to relax the legs for today, so take it like a yin posture. So if your toes naturally fall in a little bit, as mine do, if you're an internal rotator, you can let them fall in. If you're an external rotator and they go the other way, you can just let them drop out here. So you're relaxing your legs. And the energy flows through your legs. The sensations here might be strong for some of us. Remember not to push or pull. We'll take another 2 or 3 breaths here. Good. When you're ready, slowly up. Again, we feel some afterglow, some residue from that posture. We're going to come once again over and onto our back, so we're coming into semi-supine again. So you might want, for this, some padding underneath the back of the head. Good. So we're going to take the legs the other way. We're going to cross the right leg over the left leg. And we're going to draw the legs in towards us for a moment here. So you can hold the front of your left shin. We're looking to feel the opening in the right hip here. Our propensity will be to tip over to the right because it feels a bit easier. Try and come into the center. Notice how it feels if you tip a bit to your left, a bit to your right, and then see if you can find the balance. So your shoulder blades support equal weight. The 2 halves of your sacrum, the back of your pelvis, support equal weight. And we take just a few breaths here. You can relax your feet, hug in towards you, and breathe all the way down as if you're breathing into your pelvic space. And close your eyes and really notice how it feels, how you can feel as if you're expanding into your hips with your inhale, and how that softens and condenses as you exhale. Just one more. Maybe take a breath here, just like we did at the beginning, and retain it for a second. And then release it slowly. Good. You can change the legs so it's left over right and come in towards you again. You might want to tip a bit to your left and then some to your right, and find the center. Breathe all the way down and into pelvic space again. You take a huge inhale. Retain it for a second. And let all of your attention and pressure slide away as you exhale. Good. You release the feet to the floor. You feel again the way the energy is moving around your hips and in your legs. You notice the subtle sensations. And then we bring ourselves into, this is Supta Baddha Konasana, so the soles of your feet come together. Now you might find that you want to use a blanket here around your feet. So I'm going to change my setup a little bit. And I like here to bind my feet together so my feet feel really snug in Baddha Konasana. You can use blocks or cushions to support your hips. Again, make the posture as comfortable as you can so that your body can't resist but to just fall into the posture and relax. And if it's not quite right, bring yourself out of the posture and start again until it feels exactly the way you want the posture to feel. Now, if you have another blanket, you could cover yourselves over here. We want to keep the warmth in. We want to keep the warmth and the energy in. We certainly don't want the kidneys to be cold in any of our relaxations or any of our postures over this retreat. So if you are in a space that's not particularly warm or if the floor is cold, use this extra blanket underneath. And you close your eyes here. And we should feel supported in our posture. We should feel that the head, the neck is supported. We should feel that the legs are supported, that the feet are held, the back of the body supported. Notice here how your breathing is. If your breathing is more spacious, if it's now smooth and even breathing, if the choppiness or the fragmenting is gone. If your inhalation feels now satisfying, nourishing, your exhalation is soothing and calming. Now you might be so comfortable here that you want to stay here for the duration of your relaxation. You may feel that this is a little intense for your inner thighs, in which case you can straighten your legs out. You might want to keep the blocks or the cushions underneath the backs of your thighs if you're straightening your legs out. You might want to stay here, you might want to come semi-supine. So wherever you think you're going to be most comfortable, you're going to take the last few breaths of this practice. And we can just notice the skin around the eyes. Maybe we can soften. We notice around the mouth, any tension in the jaw that we can soften. Notice if the neck is relaxed and the shoulders. Throughout the back and into the hips and the legs. We notice the feeling of space between our fingers and our toes. And most importantly, we notice some space between our temples, some space in our minds. notice space around our breath. When you're ready, we'll take one last big inhale, and we'll hold that inhale for a moment or two. Release it slowly with the last of your tension and stress. Maybe move your fingers, your toes, your wrists. If you are still in Baddha Konasana, you might use your hands to help you bring your knees in towards each other, and maybe hug your knees in towards your chest. You can stretch your feet up towards the ceiling. Maybe rotate your ankles. And in your own time, bring yourself slowly back up to sitting. You take a moment again just to drop the weight into your base, into your pelvis. You feel connection to the ground. You feel that you've put down your roots for this mini retreat. Your hands come in front of your heart. When you feel ready, you take a bow forward. When you're ready, you come slowly up. Namaste. Thank you. Eat well, only good food this evening, and sleep well tonight. I will see you in the morning. Namaste.